Hi, I'm Jordan Fosfett with SD Janner, and I'm here to talk about how volunteers sample for a Midlake grab sample. We're on our boat here with our life jackets on, and we're getting ready to sample. The first thing that we want to do is fill out our labels and data sheets, so we'll do that first. So for our bottles, we've got an A bottle, a B bottle, and a chlorophyll bottle that we'll fill. Depending on if you use the Health Lab or Mid-Continent, your bottles will look a little different. The Health Lab from Pier will be these 1 liter plastic bottles, and then the Mid-Continent Lab in Rapid City gives you these kind of square plastic bottles. And then the chlorophyll bottle will always be the same 1 liter brown plastic. Then we've got our labels. So your chlorophyll label will look like this. And then we fill out all this information here. It is April 10th? 12th. It is April 12th, 2024. It is 11 a.m. and we always use military time. Put your initials, and then when you put your initials, you put everyone who's sampling that day. So you and everyone who's helping you. The total milliliters of this bottle is 1,000. So you put 1,000, and then the filtering, don't worry about that. We take care of that part. A and B, same thing, initials at the same time, you put on the labels and the date. This is what our data sheets look like. They're also called chain of custody forms. This keeps track of everything that the lab tests for and each bottle that is tested for. So same thing on those, put the date, the time, and your initials. And then everything else should be filled out already. We also do a Secchi disc depth measurement in the middle of the lakes. So at your mid-lake sample out of the side of your boat, you take off your sunglasses and any hat that you're wearing because you don't want that to interfere with what the depth is, and then you go to the shaded side of the boat, which would be, let's call it over here. And then you can either pre-mark out a rope like we have with a half-meter increments, or you can attach it to a meter spool, measuring spool. Then you drop the Secchi disc off the edge of the boat in the shaded side, and then once it disappears, you pull it back up, marking where the water was, and then you write that measurement on your data sheets. So this is, call that 0.4. So that's 0.5, call it 0.4. This is a little bit of a different circumstance because the Secchi disc was on the bottom of the lake. If it is on the bottom of the lake, when you take your measurement, you just write down on the bottom in the field comments. So our Secchi was 0.4 meters, it's always in meters. And then for field comments, we will write Secchi on bottom. Now we're going to fill all of our sample bottles. We want to wear a fresh pair of gloves to do this. So now we're going to fill all of our sample bottles. The first step is to do a triple rinse. So you do that by filling the bottle a little bit shaking it around really well, dumping it, making sure you get all the water out so you can fling it. And then you do that 3 times. And then to fill the bottle for real, we invert, place it under the water, and then tip it up because you don't want to get the surface scums in this bottle. Then you can dump a little bit out. It only needs to be full to the shoulder of the bottle, which is the bend. That's enough water for the lab to collect their samples. Then cap it and put it on ice in your cooler. And then you repeat that process for the A bottle and the chlorophyll bottle. So we'll talk about filling the chlorophyll bottle too. It's the same procedure, you triple rinse it. I'm just gonna do an extra one. And then fill the chlorophyll. With the chlorophyll bottle, you can get the surface scums because that's where a lot of the grit really likes to sit. And then cap that and put it on ice. Now we have all of our bottles filled. If you're collecting a B bottle that has all the nutrients in it, the nitrogen, nitrate, nitrite, and phosphorus, we acidify that bottle to make sure that those nutrients don't degrade over time before they get to the lab. And we use sulfuric acid for that. So you'll either have a bottle of sulfuric acid and pipettes to use, or we can give you pre-measured vials of sulfuric acid. So then you take your B bottle, make sure it's the B bottle, out of the cooler, and then either dump in your pre-measured vial of acid or take your pipette and very carefully measure out to the top of this line, which is the 2 milliliters. Try not to touch the pipette to the sides of the bottle because that can lead to contamination. There we go. There's 2 milliliters. And then put it in the bottle. And then recap your acid bottle. And recap your B bottle. Shake it a little bit to disperse the acid. Put it back in the cooler. So for my blank and replicate sample, I've filled out my data sheets. I also spilled some water on my data sheet. This happens, that's why we use waterproof Sharpies. So this is the regular sample sheet. And then this is my replicate sample that I've marked with replicate in the type of sample. I've copied over my Secchi measurements and the same date, same time, and same initials. Then this is my blank sample sheet. Date, time, initials, and then I've marked the blank box. And then the blank, you don't have to fill in these field measurement boxes. And then I have my labels as well. And the labels will either have a checkbox for blank and replicate, or you write on the top right here, blank and replicate. So we'll get my blank and replicate bottles, put the labels on there. triple rinse procedure just with the distilled water. We got our distilled water, we got our empty bottle. Want to be careful to not touch the inside of the caps either. Pour in a little bit of water. Shake it. Do that 3 times. Everything. And then for your B bottles, for your replicate B bottle and your blank B bottle, you would also acidify those at this time and then put everything back on ice. So in summary, for a Midlake grab sample, you have an A bottle, a B bottle, and a chlorophyll bottle that you all triple rinse, and then you acidify the B bottle. And then if you're collecting a blank and replicate Midlake grab sample, you will have a set of 3, your main sample, your replicate, and your blank sample for both the A, B, and chlorophyll. And then for all of your B sets, your normal sample, your replicate sample, and your blank sample, you acidify all of those with 2 milliliters of acid. And then put everything in a cooler.